Uh-oh. My face is under the stuff. Try that. Hello, if anybody's out there watching, playing along at home. I'm just going to be messing around with what we know as the Good Stuff website, just for a fun little project idea, lunchtime hour or so here. So what we do, excuse me, what we do is right now on the website, as you can see, it's in need of some love and TLC, and I don't have the technical or design abilities to give it the love it deserves and needs. So I just mess around and try and break things, basically, is kind of what I do. That's my job, I guess. That's what I've self-defined as my job anyways. So it kind of looks a little janky. Kyle, my partner here at Good Stuff, we both know it needs some loving. Look at that. Even we've got the classic out-of-date copyright in the footer. But anyways, a lot of our episodes, not a lot, all of our episodes. Let me know in the comments if the volume is too loud or too quiet, by the way. Hello on Twitch, Periscope, and or Mixer, depending on where you are in the world. Our episodes are hosted on Transistor, Justin Jackson and John Buda's fabulous podcast hosting service. And so what we do right now, for the most part, is you can build a great website with Transistor. They don't have networking support yet, like if you want a podcast network of all your shows that you host with Transistor. So we've got what's that? 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15, kind of. Most of these are dormant, actually, and some of them are like things that I do just on the side for my business or whatever as part of the Good Stuff. Well, I use the Good Stuff hosting plan, so because the cool thing about Transistor is within their plans, they allow you to have multiple podcasts that you're hosting with them, and so you don't have to pay each time you add a new podcast to your plan, basically. They do it on downloads and stuff like that. So if you're not too popular, like us, then you don't have to worry about that. It's a good problem to have. Anyways, the podcasts themselves are, so this, like an episode page is like this, right? Title, details, description, sponsor spot, and then a little extra blurb here because we just want to let folks know that we're on Transistor to help them out. And then also the podcast player, and then the show notes that get packaged in here, and then a footer. So our homepage is kind of this mishmash of like the most recent episodes of a show. It's a Jekyll-based website for if you're a web dev nerd out there. And so we're a little limited on some of, probably primarily because of myself and or Kyle's knowledge and time and ability again. But so the current setup is with the episodes of each show, even if like this one is October 8th, October 2nd, October 1st, September 13th, October 7th, August 9th. So each show that's a live, active show that we've determined in our feed or on our site, doesn't matter how old the episode is. So this one, it actually looks almost like, obviously, if you're doing it sort of chronologically, this episode should appear above this one, and so on. But because it's kind of just each show is pulled into the homepage description. Anyways, what I was thinking is like, it's a lot of clicks from the homepage, or 2 clicks, I guess, 3 clicks to start hearing a podcast, if it works.
Years old alien. No, she's not. Okay, which of these is true?
My Firefox is, where's my sound source? Firefox is turned down, that's why.
All true.
They're all true.
She's
But,
she's an alien bartender,
and she.
So there you go. Anyways, the idea I was having is that, so then you go to our show page and we've got our shows here. And, but what we do is on the show page itself, we have the latest episode is automatically inserted with a Transistor fancy, whatever that's called, embed code thing. So it automatically grabs whatever's the latest episode, has a little player there. But for each episode, you kind of have to go in, and then we use our own custom, I guess, or like the HTML whatever it's called, audio embed player. And so I've been kind of like in my mind debating, like for podcasters these days, what is the best way to actually get a podcast website? And do you even need a podcast website? And how much time do you spend on a podcast website when what you're trying to do is actually the podcast? And I see podcast nerds saying that you need to have a website because that's where you're going to market. Podcast marketing nerds, I guess, saying you need to have a website because that's how you market your stuff, and that's how you're going to put, like, if you have special extras, you need a website to put that on, and you need things like that for your podcast. But what I see a lot of podcast folks who get into podcasting doing is they have a website that they end up fiddling with and spending a whole bunch of time with, rather than just doing the thing that they actually are planning to do, which is a podcast. And I don't know, analytics for our shows across a variety of listener types and stuff. There's certainly people who listen to the podcast on the website, so it's important. I would never argue against having a website at all. But why, like, I sort of go back and forth here with Kyle and myself here with Good Stuff, is why have the website when you can get, like, so this is my business's podcast's webpage, which is, I didn't have to build it all. I did a little bit of customizing with the colors and a subscribe box or whatever and stuff like that. I had to write up the copy, obviously, but I don't have to worry about maintaining this website at all. It doesn't break on me unless Transistor's whole infrastructure breaks, I guess. And I don't have to worry about trying to make sure it all formats properly and the player works in a variety of devices. That's up to John and Justin's, their expertise. I don't have to worry about that. Finding new buttons, making sure all these buttons look properly or whatever, that kind of stuff, all taken care of. I just have to find my show's URL, throw it in there in the back end, and it just works. And even for them, like, they've added the ability so that when if someone hits this page, podcast@lemmonprofessional.ca/subscribe, and they're on an iPhone, then it'll show them like Apple Podcast link or whatever. So, like, we've done that on Good Stuff, but we had to build that ourselves and, like, figure out how to hack that together and make it work, which isn't the end of the world. That's fine. But for the average person doing this, I'm leaning more towards the idea, like, just use the embedded or the built-in website from your podcast hosts, whoever that may be. Transistors gets my vote, but whatever it is, chances are it's going to be easier, better, quicker to update and support modern stuff than whatever you can do. Unless you're like a web dev who loves spending time, right? Just like, I go back and forth because it's important to own your thing. Just like with blogging, you want to have a website and you want to own that site so that you're not subject to, like, whatever medium.com decides to do or Facebook decides to do. So pick your company wisely and make sure that you're able to, if things go awry with them, like, set up a redirect from your podcast so that you can set into your feed somewhere else. Just realizing I may have stolen my wife's lunch. Maybe I took her turkey sandwiches. So anyways, what was I going to do? Why am I doing this? I was thinking of, like, basically sort of presenting the podcast, trying to get using the embedded player from, let's go with the show that I do myself so I don't mess around. So I'm going to set up a little environment here because where our site is version controlled, Git or whatever. Transistor embed idea, we'll call it. So I can run it locally, so it's not necessarily just publish it in case Kyle's ever watching and wants to mess around with it. Now I'm gonna open it in terminal. That's really big. And run it locally here. Oh, shoot. I think I took the wrong one. Just better check here just a second. Let's see. Live on the stream. Because if I did, it means I got the one with cranberry jam, cranberry sauce, the leftovers, and I don't like the cranberry sauce. I always call it cranberry jam. Let's see here. Let's switch to the full screen feed so you guys can see here what happens. Uh-oh. Look at that. I'm in trouble. I took the one with the jam, the cranberry sauce. She's going to be so ticked. Better send her a picture of it with a sorry emoji. I won't eat it on the stream here. That would be gross. Nobody likes to watch someone eat turkey. Okay, back to where I was. Current app. That one? There we go. Get this down out of my face. Okay, so now if I go to that URL, boop, locally here. No, I don't want another tab. Just open it. Looks all the same, but if I make a change, it'll be reflected. So let's go to the YouTube podcast. This latest episode with Painting U2 and Act Tunes with Kelly. So if I go onto Transistor episodes and get the embedded player, let's grab the dark one just for fun. So I'm just going to close that so I don't get messed up. And then go over here to the code. Just got to align this here so I can see it better. YouTube episode 97. So all the metadata and stuff is pulled in. Oh yeah. So if I do this, I just throw this in the episode details here and let it refresh or regenerate. Nothing yet. Yeah, so then I get the embedded player. But you look, so if you go to YouTube at YouTube. So what's nice about why we might consider this, I guess, is, you know, they take care again. They take care of this kind of stuff, the share buttons and the like. We have them, but it's like we have to maintain those again, right? Shareable player, embeddable player, little nicer control, the album artwork right there, which again you could build yourself, but I want a podcast, not develop websites. It's kind of why I got into this anyways, this side of things. So now I would have to actually do a lot of like fiddling with our episode page. So I could change this. If I added some metadata to embed player, embed iframe. Got rid of that. And then for an episode layout. Where has he got it here? Page title, episode date, episode description. Page, episode player, anchor. Oh, if page anchor. Right, because we were doing some anchor. Episode player MP3. Yeah. So I could do, I wonder, I don't really know what I'm doing, so that's why I'm doing it not on production. If page MP3. I wonder if, I want to actually do if page embed iframe else MP3. I think. Then div class episode player. Still put it in there, I suppose. What was the code? Let's just for inch. I'll just use the dark one for now, or light one, I mean. Actually, before I do that, because that's all coming from. Yeah, I don't really need the player links and stuff if I don't have. So yeah, I'm going to duplicate this. And then here is where I'm going to put that code, just for now. So if page embed iframe has that, then it's going to, no, I don't want, that needs to be just, is that what I do? No. That's what it is there. Page embed iframe. So then I would want else something. I guess this probably here as well, because I want that to appear. I don't think that's right. I guess it's going to try and build it here. Oh, did that work? So if I go back to a oh, my soundtrack ended. Go back to Solemn Vow. Oh, it did work. I think. Okay, let's try another one. So if I change the end is near, discussion of little things, that's episode. Go like this, go grab 96. Embed iframe. Save. Oh, I forgot to put on live. Where am I putting this? In here. In the various places. Going live. I don't feel. I'm not smart enough to put it in anything there. Okay, let's see where. All right. I don't love the look of it. Like it feels like a lot of stuff again to get down to the player. Like maybe with the embed code, it would actually be better to have it. Episode. Because even if there isn't, I wonder what it would look like with the player. Episode player. Where am I here? So like from here. Move it all. Oops. With anchor too, I guess. Episode title, episode release date. See what that looks like. This is janky, obviously. Spotify having a nice button, but you can tell I did that one. Not Kyle. The other ones look nice and matchy-matchy. Chris's version, not so much. I guess I always struggle with on a podcast player app or website for a podcast. Do you have the player first off, right off the bat? Or do you put the description so then they know? So that, okay, so the player's right off the bat there. Let's go back to, say, this one. So that HR maybe should go down below before the links and show notes. Episode description. Like that, but I don't know. I don't hate that. 297. Let's see the live version, like the actual. So I feel like on a bigger screen, for sure, like this, it gets you to the player a little quicker. And it's using the transistor one definitely makes it stand out like more of a player. And obviously in dark mode too. It's so the other one was I think 96 that I did the light mode on. I don't know. Still seems to work nicer-ish. Let's send this to a device. Send this to my phone. Oh, is that going to work? That won't work. Yeah, this particular I don't have a remote URL or whatever, so I guess that can't work. But if I publish it to, where am I here? Trying a new podcast player, location, and embed. If I publish it to Netlify as a push pull request, then it should be accessible by anybody who's watching, actually. If there is anybody actually watching. Nope. Such is life. Just make sure it's actually working. Hello, is this working? Hello, is this working? Yeah, looks like it. Anyways, where was I here? Create pull request. So the cool thing is, if you're hosted with Netlify and other services do this, it'll actually build out a branch that you submit in GitHub, triggers a deployment or build of that branch on a special subdomain or whatever, Netlify domain, so that it can be viewed, obviously, by people who aren't necessarily on your local computer, but it doesn't change the production site. So makes it super easy for testing and checking out things, trying it on other people's browsers, other people's phones, other internet speeds, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Really cool. Which you can kind of do, like if you're in the WordPress land, you can kind of like, you can build a preview and then you can have it like a private link and then you have it not accessible, but you can't do like your whole site within just WordPress itself. There's certainly hosting companies within WordPress land. I think WP Engine does this and Flywheel, where you can have staging sites. So you can build like a version of your website, WordPress site in staging so that you can share that around the world. It's nowhere near as easy or as cheap, because this is free, as in beer, free to me and to Goodstuff. Like we're not pasting, we're not paying anything right now to Netlify to host our site, because we're not over a limit as far as how much data we're using with them. I think the amount of pull deploy preview requests or whatever is limited. Cranberry or turkey update. She noticed it before she headed out and added cranberry sauce. So all is saved. I'm not completely bad. Where was I? Netlify. Yeah, so we're not paying anything, and so I think they are going to limit, I guess, how many of these you can do. Like if I was obviously doing this every day and multiple times a day, and I think that's maybe coming. Oh yeah, I keep needing to get rid of the mixed content embeds that we have. It takes forever actually on our builds. Just go through and get rid of all these URLs off our site. So it's still processing. Processing. Just tell her I opened it. Okay. Whoops, wrong one. Processing still. So the other thing I was wondering is whether on our show page we have the most recent episode embed here as well, because that would certainly make it, I don't know, easier to try out a show rather than like clicking through here. You can get it there, I guess. So, I don't know. Again, I feel like there isn't a ton of people that are actually listening or looking at this page. I don't have our analytics up in front of me right now, but I know it's primarily like an episode page itself, like the actual episode of the show gets this or whatever, gets the most views.
From the top of the show in here, but I figure
Oop. Something happened there. The other thing is, for some reason, our files are not, like on our player. I guess it does work. I was going to say, oop, that one has that. That one has it as well, you dummy. Oh yeah, no, you don't get the length before you start playing, I guess. Transistors Embed has the time code right there already, playback speeds, etc. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Deploy done yet? So now this link, which is obviously not very easy to see or to like just grab and share, but that is accessible on the interwebs. So if I can send this to my device, to Firefox, and actually I think I've got this. Let's see. Or my iOS 5. Doop. So oh, there we go. Hello, this is the At YouTube podcast for October 2nd, 2019. The At YouTube podcast where we... Oh yeah, I wasn't hearing it. You guys were. So that's with the embed, their embed. Looks nice. What happens if I rotate? Whoa, nice. Actually updates. Okay. So that's that. Let's see. Good stuff. I guess I could send it to oops. Fat Fingers ATU to garbage. Go there. Go to this one. So this is the current website. Yeah, like I don't know. You have to scroll down a little ways. Like, and maybe the subscribe stuff should be below the player even. Because, like, I don't know. On desktop, it looks, I guess I'm not showing you that. Current app. Whoop. Desktop, that looks fine. It doesn't take up a lot of real estate. You can still see the player fairly quickly. But on iOS, if you're going to an episode page and you hit this first, or on mobile, I guess, you got to scroll down versus even here. At least you're getting... We talk all pretty quickly. Huh. I wonder. Let's just try something here. Episode page. include the nav, container, and then show information. If we move that, I'm going to break something really badly here, I know. Episode player links, page content, right there. Okay, let's make sure I'm looking at the right one. Let's go back to 97. So it's going to rebuild. Sorry, I'm not showing you what I'm doing. So all I did there, because I forgot to show you, is moved a bunch of code where initially it was showing the show information first and then the player embed, and I just copied and pasted and moved it down. And so then once this is done, yeah, now you get the episode right at off the hop, details, description. Maybe we just need some titles. I don't know. It gets so messy. So let's just try committing this. Moving episode player to the top. So I believe that updates this deploy shortly-ish. Yeah, okay. Lunchtime's almost over, so that's probably where I'll have to stop. But it's a self-imposed lunchtime, obviously. I work for myself, so... so it's deploying and building. Uploading. I need some like intense theme music here to there, that's more intense for a deploy, right? Oops. So yeah, if I cleaned up our site and got rid of all these mixed content issues, it would definitely deploy quicker. Which I've been aware of for a while. And Aaron, the host of 3 Guys, 3 Questions, that's why it's showing up a lot, is aware of and has cleared me to just remove a bunch of that. What was I? The one I was playing before wasn't too loud, 21%. So finishing the build request. Processing. So I think the other cool thing is with Netlify, anyways, it, as far as I understand it, this preview of the previous, well, maybe not actually. I was going to say, I think that stays active. So like I could send this to Kyle, let's say, or our Good Stuff folks and say, hey, do you like this version better, or whenever this one finishes. I could be wrong, though. Oops. Oh, site is live, so it should be done. Yeah, they're different URLs. So at A297. Cool. So now this one is what I'm curious about on send to device, Firefox. Sorry, I'll switch you guys. Right. So then you've got the podcast player, at least on iOS, on iPhone 8, right off the hop, which somehow does feel better. Where did our navigation go? That's not working. I don't know if that's... Oh, it's the same on... Anyway, interesting idea, I guess. All right. Well, thanks for playing along if you were out there watching. Let's see. I don't know how I can show you that URL very easily to send it for feedback. Where could I put it? I'll maybe tweet it out. So if you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/iChris, I'll send a tweet oops, on that thread of my posting of this. Here, I'll just add this. So let's say, which do you prefer? Current. What is this one? Version 2 is that one. Actually, this would be version 2. That would be version 1, I guess. Current is, let's find goodstuff.fm/97. Nope. Just fat fingers. Nope, that's not it. Sometimes Firefox copy and paste doesn't always work that well. So I can do a poll, I guess. Current version 1. Version 2. Put a little, thanks, Netlify. Shareable previews, let's call it that. 1 day, 8 hours, and 8 minutes. Tweet. Okay, so go vote if you're out there. And that's it for this stream. Thanks for watching if you are. And I don't know if anybody did live. Nobody commented, but that's okay. I had fun, even still. I love geeking out about this stuff. If you like to geek out about live streaming stuff, and then especially podcasting, that's my business. I edit and produce podcasts for people. Hit me up somewhere. iChris on Twitter. LemonProductions.ca is my business. See you later. Bye.